Thanks, you guys. I see some people are joining already. That's awesome. And still a couple minutes early, so we'll just hang out. If you haven't made yourself a cup of tea, I invite you to join me in some tea. You still have time to go make a quick cup. And if you guys have questions you want to ask during this show, during this time together, I'd love to take your questions. Any kind of questions about the cards or how they work or anything related to spirituality or anything, that's up. And we'll just have a conversation. "30 more seconds, and we'll start the show." Okay, awesome. So thanks you guys so much for joining. And my name is Ana Cortez, and you're listening to It's Not Tarot. No, it's not tarot. In fact, it's not any kind of oracle or card reading with playing cards you've ever seen before. Unless, of course, you're talking about the playing card oracles. It's the code encoded into playing cards, finally decoded just in time for the future. Today is July 29th, 2021, and it's the 13th episode of It's Not Tarot. The format of this show is we start off with a theme or topic, and then we complete our time together with live readings, getting advice from the oracles for you, and giving you the opportunity to see these amazing oracles and how they work in action. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell for notifications. If you want all the information about all the live streams, go to anacortez.com/live, where you can also find out how to join this show live on Zoom, where you can ask your personal questions of the oracles. So that's that. And the theme for today's show is healing and love, and how to heal using cards. And I think this is a very up topic, very relevant topic for right now, especially when the world needs so much healing and we as individuals need so much healing. And but before we get into our topic, let's review some updates. Let's do some updates. So last week on It's Not Tarot, we had my friend Lisa on, who is a local here in Santa Fe, one of my personal friends. And she was bringing in a unique perspective, someone who lives a life that's very different from most people. Lisa is not on social media. Lisa does not have a smartphone. Lisa does not have a computer. Lisa lives very much life the way people used to live it. And she's got a very grounded perspective that we enjoy. So we're going to have Lisa back on. And I want to start the show with how we ended the show with Lisa last time. But I also want to give you some updates. The new trading packs are coming soon. Trading pack numbers 8, 9, and 10 are on the way imminently, and packs number 5, 6, and 7 are still for sale. And those are available on the website. And those actually bring forward the third and final deck of CJ Freeman, something that's only been released as a self-published deck like in the late 90s. And only about 100 decks were ever sold at that time. So this is a super, super rare edition that hasn't been available till now. And you can only get it through the trading card packs at this time. So I super recommend those. They're also a really fun gift for people who are new to the idea of playing cards as, oracle devices. Someone who is new to all the kind of secrets that are held in playing cards is a great introduction, a great little gift idea. Also, we're doing a reprint of the Playing Card Oracles book. We're now going into our third printing of the Playing Card Oracles, which is really exciting. That book was first published in 2001. And it has never gone out of print since that time. Switched publishers throughout that time period, but we've been selling steadily over 20 full years now and going into a third printing. So this is really exciting, really great news. And I was actually really lucky that I could find the original person who originally created our book files. He's still in business as an independent bookmaker in Boulder, Colorado. And because the printer and myself both lost our source files, or just they were corrupted in some way on my end. Anyway, without this person who originally created our files 20 years ago still being around, still having access to his original source files, this third printing would not be happening. So it's just like a miracle. And this project is sort of been defined by miracles. Many miracles have been needed throughout the just the whole process of bringing this project forward. And it does seem to be, we have been able to have assistance when we needed it. Lots of examples of that through the years. And so we are going into another printing, which is a miracle. And what else is going on with the Playing Card Oracles? Thanks, Andy. Thank you. Yeah, it's a wonderful feeling to be going into a third printing, and still waiting for the publishers at Schiffer Red Feather for news of when the third book, the next book, is coming out. I just wrote to them asking for an update. The original projected date for the brand new deck and brand new full-size book is the fall winter of this year. And I'm hoping that we are still going to be able to make that deadline. So with a little bit of luck and maybe a miracle or two, we'll meet that deadline. But I just can't wait for that project to be in the hands of you guys, because there's so much juicy new material, so many new, as I like to say, corridors in the mansion, new doorways, a whole new wing in the sort of fantasy castle that the playing card oracles occupy, and these doorways that lead to new and unimaginable realms that exist in this castle, right? So I can't wait for you guys to have that in your hands, and then we'll have all kinds of new stuff to talk about with the cards. But you know, it all stems from the work that's already in the playing card oracles. All of these doors lead to further doors. So it's really kind of a pitfall to think that you've ever really mastered something to the point of you're finished learning, right? Because if you think that, you will be. And it's just a limiting thought, you know. Once you feel really comfortable with the playing card oracles book and the techniques in there, go further, push yourself further, see what else you can find, trust yourself. You know, all is not just what's written in the books. You know, we have to take this on as a living practice and allow it to open itself to us and trust where it leads us, even if it's not in the book, right? I mean, that's been my approach the whole time. And that was my father's approach as well. And then the whole system was birthed from that attitude, right, of trusting yourself. Because nobody was doing with playing cards what the where the playing card oracles takes you. Nobody was doing that stuff. And you know, it had to be an individual person who said, I'm going to trust myself and go where no man has gone before with playing cards and just see what happens. See if it works, see if the cards speak, see if something comes alive. And it doesn't have to be written in a book somewhere. So, you know, I have, oh, look at Andy's in Zoom. That's awesome. I really love that. Thank you for the support there. And, you know, my new practice with this show, the It's Not Tarot show, is, you know, I kind of feel it approaching as the week moves on, and I'm always kind of curious about what topic will reveal itself for the show. You know, I like to feel guided in what I bring to you guys. And lately I've been drawing cards to complement that. And I like to just ask the powers that be, you know, to show me a direction for the show. And this week, this was the card that revealed itself, you know, the Seven of Hearts, beautiful card. And so then my method is to say, okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that guidance. And then I continue to shuffle the deck using that card as a lost man card. So I'm asking in my mind to see what environment that signature card, that signifier card, wants to put itself in, what else it wants to reveal about itself, what other influences are happening around it. So I continue shuffling, and then I've got a whole layout in front of me, and the Lost Man spread is in the playing card oracles, the instructions for that spread. And so yeah, I did that last week, and there are so many synchronicities with the cards that show up, how they appear to me. Some of them have been in my 4-card spread for the new moon, the month that we're appearing in. So it's just exciting to continue working with the cards and see all the synchronicities that happen in my personal work. And I'm always looking for those synchronicities. So today, in accordance with what was revealed to me, through the deck, I want to talk about healing and what that really means within our practice of card reading, because healing is a loaded word. It's a very big word, right? And healing is something that can be interpreted in so many ways. And in my experience and the way that this concept has sort of evolved and morphed and changed within me over the years, and how it plays out in my practice, healing within cards for me at this time has come to represent something that I need to address on a very energetic level. Right? There was a time, for example, when I had an acupuncture or a Chinese doctor, a doctor of Chinese medicine, as one of my students. And he was very interested in how the different cards, the different suits, the different numbers, etc., represented the different systems of the body. And he was actually looking for physical representations in the layouts, which I thought was totally exciting and exhilarating. I wanted to see that developed, but I myself didn't have enough knowledge of the bodily systems to go down that path. But that student and I quit working together. The student actually moved back to China. And he just sort of went on his own way, and I went on my own way. But in doing readings for people who are looking specifically for physical healing, what I have found to work the best is to ask the cards to reveal to me the energetic of the situation that needs healing, so that I am working on a spiritual, energetic level, and I am not, for myself, I am not attempting to do any kind of medical or physical diagnosis or mediumship, and a lot of people are very talented at that. And that's their area. It's not my area. So each person has to feel this out for themselves. And that took me a while to come to, because first of all, not a lot of people ask about physical healing with card reading questions. It does come up, but it's not a common one in my experience, in my past. So it took me a little longer to sort of process all of that, I feel. Also, when I switch gears on that to looking at the healing from a spiritual level, almost like a shamanic perspective or an energetic perspective, the readings just really clicked in. They became much more productive, and I got a lot better results with my clients. So I follow that. That's always my measure. You guys should ask questions if you have questions. I much prefer a conversation. If anybody wants to ask about, anything related to their practice or their spirituality or anything, I'd love to have a conversation. Just type it in the chat. And so what else? So when I did the Lost Man spread on this card, check this out. This is the way that it came up. These were the two closest cards, the one on the left and the one on the right. And just take that image in. I mean, there's so much that we can gain from these cards, so much that shifts energy just by looking at these cards, the way they appear together, and how they feel when we view them within these groupings that show up on our table, right? They're not individual cards anymore. They are forming some kind of new, almost like an organism, a new whole, a new organic sort of communication, right? They cease to become individual cards. And that's how I want you to sort of have as your goal when you see a group of cards. Allow it to speak to you as a whole, right? Imagine they're connected together and this is some kind of creature, right? Where you can't disconnect individual cards anymore. This is a creature. It's all connected together. It's living, it's moving, and it has a feeling. It has a flavor. It has an expression, and it has a way of meeting us where we're at. So, to me, this is like a power creature right here. You know, very definitely these three cards out of the whole lost man sort of possibility, or the whole spread of lost man cards, these three cards really stuck together and created a trinity, you know, where we have the ace, which is the very beginning card in any suit, right? It's the beginning, or the alpha, or the word, or any of those sort of really epic concepts for beginnings, right? Ace is so powerful. It is the beginning, and it also is the whole in a way, just like a universe before it's shattered into so many pieces. And then on the other side of this sword is really the omega. The 9 is the final card in so many ways, even though we have in the deck a continuation after the 9. We have the card of the number 10. We have the Jack, the Queen, the King. All of those are of a very different order. And we explore that a lot more in the new book that's coming out. So we can look forward to that. But the 9 is, you know, the final card of what I would call the pips, because the 10 rightfully belongs to the court. The 10 is a court card that fell from the court somewhere along in history, and, you know, is rightfully viewed as a court card if you're to make any sense of the playing card deck. You know, it's like healing your own perception of this numerological sequence. So we see the 9 as the final card in the spectrum that is the ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then after the 9, we enter the 2-digit cards. And the 1 repeats itself, you know, and the 0 and the 2 and all of that. So the 9 is the final card. And here we have the ace through the 9, holding the spectrum of possibility here, pierced in the middle by this sword, this tool that is so sharp and that is in the element of hearts or healing or water, right? As it is surrounded by these dark earth element cards. And this just speaks to the power that we hold in our hands as we work with our cards. This is your possibility right here. There is nothing between the Alpha and the Omega on the earth, nothing that cannot be healed with the help of your cards. Of course, cards in themselves are just paper, but they point us back to the powers that are within us. And we are all powerful, of course. We should never underestimate our own power to heal whatever has come our way on this earth. These are both earth cards. These are physical reality cards. So to me, this speaks of ultimate faith in our oracles, because we have ultimate faith in ourselves, right? We should never underestimate our own personal power. And if this reading was to appear to me for a client, you know, there's nothing that this client couldn't address and triumph over for healing, for physical healing even, right? Because once we heal the spirit, the physical heals. And that's the truth. So yeah, and you know, it's like healing the mind, healing the spirit, and then the physical heals. There's nothing we can't heal. So nobody has any questions? Nobody wants to ask any questions of the oracles or the way these cards behave, or something they want to share about their own practice, or something about their own spirituality or practice in, you know, cards or any other spiritual practice? What else about these cards? This is an interesting spread. This is the last spread from the last It's Not Tarot show. And this is the cards spread that was drawn for Lisa. And look at that. We have another sword at the top. 7, so powerful. A 3 of hearts, beautiful card. Again, spades and hearts, just like today's layout. Queen of spades and the ace of hearts. And the Queen of Spades was upside down like that. And Lisa and I ended the show talking about the need to quell the drama in our own lives as a key for approaching life in a way that really serves us. And that was a key to being calm in these times when there's so many triggers for us. You know, we're not a balanced society right now. We're not a balanced organism as a human being, you know. I think we can all say that each one of us contributes to a greater organism, which is the human being. Each one of us expresses an aspect of this greater being that is the human being. And we're kind of all over the place right now. We're really kind of struggling to find our center. And so cards, of course, can also help us to find that. And, you know, we're going through a lot right now. So I think it's just part of what is. And, you know, sometimes events that really throw people off their center have the function of bringing us back to center. You know, we're sort of looking for something to hold on to and looking to put our roots deeper into something. And it can be very useful that way, these sort of jolting events or uncentering events. And look at this Three of Hearts. It's all about finding the center here, isn't it? I think this is so interesting, this image. These two little characters up here surrounding this guy in the center. He's having to ask himself who he really is, which direction he wants to give his energy. And let's see. Oh, that's good. So this is an excellent card for us to meditate on in times like these. And this card really speaks to drama in our lives, or potentially drama in our lives. And in this spread, we have the Seven of Spades coming down here and really becoming a power that helps us to discern what is drama and what is needed in our life and what we can just cut away. So yeah. So again, this spread became for me like not individual cards anymore, but very much like a creature that is something totally different than the four of these cards stuck together. This, if you look at it on the table, it's kind of hard here because we can't see it. But how do these cards feel as a group? And what do they create as a group? You know, we have earth and water as they commingle here, as they create something which is not strictly earth or strictly water. It's like a hybrid creature that we see made out of our cards that communicates something completely different than these cards as individual members, right? And tapping into that allows you to enter into a new level with your card reading that really moves and transforms energy, right? And this is not something that we need to fix or slay or see something wrong with. This is the dynamic that is in the spiritual realm. This is an energetic that we're going to have to get to know and feel comfortable with and ultimately navigate if we're going to become master of whatever's going on in our own life, right? So again, this creature is a very powerful creature. We've got this 7, which is, you know, a tool, a weapon that is being offered to the person who asked this question. And here it is piercing into the heart, which is so interesting. And these wings here, sort of all on the skewer of the sword, which actually morphs into this queen of power who is the rightful ruler of this sword. You know, all these kind of stories that can arise from looking at these cards as they appear in this group. This is the technique I like to talk about as layouts as pictures, or card direction as it's talked about in the playing card oracles. And look at the way these cards fell. The bird that becomes the head of the queen. This is not the Queen of Spades anymore. This is some kind of hybrid queen with some sort of messenger, energetic, that has become her crown, who also clings to this heart, which we have seen already up above her. So all of this, you know, calls to the storyteller within us, calls to our imagination within us, calls to the intuition that we have as we sit with any one particular individual client, you know, that can only happen in that moment. So Lisa, this reading was for her, and she doesn't happen to be here right now, and it would be a very different feeling, a much more informed feeling if she was here with me. But again, this just gives rise to so much more than individual cards on their own. So I really encourage you guys to start looking at your spreads from the perspective of seeing them as an organic whole and representing something energetically that we normally could not get any kind of picture of if we were picking this layout apart and looking at individual meanings for these cards as they exist in the book, right? And just memorizing meanings and trying to make sense of our own lives, which is very complex and layered and multidimensional. We need our cards to expand. And this is a wonderful tool for doing it, is this technique, right? So there's some layouts or some layouts in videos on YouTube. If you look through the Oracle School, there's definitely a video in there about this technique I'm talking about, which is layouts as pictures or card direction, as it's also called. And there's a lot in the new book. About that technique as well. But it really allows every individual spread to become completely unique and magical, and very much revealing dynamics that could never be revealed otherwise. This part of the unique spirit of the playing card oracles is that technique. So it would be great if somebody wanted to ask a question of the cards, or any kind of question. I'm watching here on YouTube. If you want to type anything in the chat, it'd be great to get a little interaction going over here. And I'll show you guys as we're hanging out. I have this great tea I'm drinking today, this Puka Love tea. Thought it would be appropriate for the Seven of Hearts, which revealed itself to me. So I'm picking my tea in accordance with the cards that I'm working with. This is the greatest tea. It's so lovely. If you guys have not checked this tea out, rose, chamomile, lavender. What else is in this one? Chamomile, lime flower. marigold flower, licorice root flower, rose flower. Wow, lavender flower. Highly recommend that tea. Yeah. Spicy. I need to practice to look at a spread. Yeah. You know, and one of the best ways, Spicy Rita, to practice looking at these spreads really is to do readings for other people. There's something that comes through when you read for other people that doesn't come through in readings for yourself. It's like there's an energy that taps into our desire to be of help to someone else, that is more powerful than concerns about your own self. And it just amplifies the power of the reading, and the messages become that much harder to overlook, right? Because we're actually trying to help someone, and so we receive assistance. That's my experience. In our reaching out to someone else, there is this dynamic that calls in the presence of this mystical third. It's the Holy Trinity that happens as we practice. And just witnessing that is so inspiring and so completely invigorating to a card reading practice, I find. You know, just how this power from realms unseen comes in to assist in readings, and your readings take off. Spicy Ritas, my questions to the cards this morning is, what do I need to focus on today? Going out of town Sunday, and I've been having a lot of bad dreams about the room. Okay, so is that a typo on the last word, Spicy Ritas, about the room? Instead, I got freaked out. Maybe I should have read as a whole. I would like to read for someone, but I'm not out of the closet yet, LOL. Well, I would encourage you to get out of the closet, LOL. I really would. I would not have ever come out of the closet in regard to what we're talking about, had it not been for my father, who just kind of literally forced me out of the closet. So I put my cards up, not very brave, right? Yeah. Well, I get it, because I'm very similar. My nature is very much that way also. And it kind of took, for me, somebody to sort of, you know, just rip the door open and push me. And so I will say, I will push you. I would really highly encourage you to get out and read for anybody at all, anybody who you can read for. It's the best thing that you can do for your practice. Even if, you know, it's full of mistakes, there aren't any mistakes. And it's just such an incredible learning experience. Okay, so Spicy Rita says, no, I've been dreaming that I picked the wrong hotel room. Oh, you've had been vivid dreams about the hotel room. Okay, well, let's ask this question for Spicy Ritas. So what do you need to focus on today? You're going out of town Sunday and you've been having, let's ask about your trip and about your dreams and what you really need to know. You've been dreaming that you picked the wrong hotel room. Okay, we'll ask what's trying to come through, if there's anything Spicy Rita needs to know, what she needs to focus on. Okay. Okay, Spicy Ritas. Okay. I don't see anything foreboding in this reading. Actually see a lot in this reading very similar to my own reading for this month of time, where the south wind is coming in at the top, sort of bringing things that we couldn't see coming. And I really love this card because it encourages me to look for things that I may have overlooked otherwise. Like I'm looking for things that maybe are trying to come through to me, but I'm interpreting in an old way so that I actually don't see opportunities that are coming to me. This is a lot how I see the south wind. Like there is something trying to get through to you that requires you to look at something in a new way, right? So be willing to open your mind and look at things that are around you as opportunities. You know, try to see the unique opportunity that's trying to come to you. Maybe in something that you would have interpreted a different way, like, you know, your plane is late, and instead of it being a bummer and this, that, and the other, the way that our mind would start interpreting situations like that, start looking for how new things are trying to come to you and find you through unplanned events, you know? Like, for example, last week, this was the card that I drew for the It's Not Tarot show. In my card, asking the deck what I needed to see about the show that was coming up. I got this card. And at the very last minute, I reached out to Lisa and asked her if she wanted to join me on the show. So I couldn't have seen that coming. It just sort of hit me at the end. So I would say for sure, be willing and be looking for surprises to come to you or opportunities that you may not have been aware of before. Then we've got the Queen of Hearts in the second position. She's just super, super like tapping into her own inner feeling of the situation. And she is trusting her own feeling instead of going into her mind about what might be happening or any fears that you have about your dream. You know, I would definitely not let those thoughts come in. Just drop down maybe a little bit deeper and see what your own feeling or gut feeling is actually telling you, because this is a really positive, powerful card. And this is definitely a powerful aspect of you that's coming forward in relation to your question. So it's a lot of power right here. And beneath her is this Ace of Dreams. This is the whispering of the soul, sometimes how I think of this card, and very much connected to this queen, right? We're talking about cards as not being separate within layouts. So this is almost like butterflies in her stomach in a way. I love that sort of image. But also, so that might be one way that you're experiencing, or one level that you're experiencing things on, is sort of tapping into this dynamic that's being depicted here of having these fluttery feelings in your solar plexus or your gut, your stomach. But this is, I see it more as like your inner knowing, just like fluttering and waking up and calling to that deep intuitive part of yourself. But again, I don't see it as anything scary. There's nothing scary in this whole layout. In fact, underneath this card is this Jack of Clubs, right? Very much connecting in and merging with this Ace of Clubs below, above it. And this card is in the doing position. This is the Jack that, like, there's no obstacles for him. There's nothing he can't do and no situation that he can't be comfortable in because he's so flexible. You know, he's so able to blend into any situation. He is almost like this transformative moth above him, where he's able to just like become a chameleon, or, you know, be able to just fit in no matter what. Thank you. I'll definitely work on keeping an open mind and heart. I also start working on coming out of the closet, so to speak. Yes. I love the Queen of Hearts card. Thank you again. You're welcome. The Queen of Hearts with the Jack of Clubs is a super magical and healing combination. So you're a super healing presence for others, and you've got a super magical, morphable ability to just fit in and make yourself comfortable in any situation. And that combined with this Four of Diamonds at the top, the trickster, I would say you could find yourself in some unusual situations that you definitely can make work with those cards that you have. So I love that question. I love that layout. It's really beautiful. And unless there's another question, if someone wants to jump in with another question, otherwise we'll end the show. But we'll just give 1 minute to see if someone wants to jump in with another question really quick. I don't see one. So we'll end the show there. And thank you so much, you guys, for being here. Thank you for joining in the It's Not Tarot show. And I love you guys. I'm thinking about you. And I hope you join next week. And if you have any questions about how to get into the Zoom, so you can ask your personal questions of the cards, you know, in the Zoom, it's nice because I can unmute you. You can actually speak your questions to the oracles. All of that is at anacortez.com/live. Oh, thanks, Spicy Ritas. Awesome. And if you have topics you would like to see addressed in the show, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. If you see topics or you have topics you'd like to have addressed in the show, you can email me at anna@anacortez.com. So thanks so much. Have a fantastic week, and take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.